Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I am Jordan, and today, yet again, we are going to do another High West product. Now, this is the High West Double Rye. This is a store pick from the Total Wines down in Denver. And ringing in at 51.5% ABV. This is bottle 17 of barrel 25,893. And so this is a product that has been raved about by many. And I will say in here, I did read this. Let's see here. Double rye, because this whiskey is created from two rye whiskeys, both a minimum of 2 years old. The blah blah blah. Okay, the younger rye by High West is produced on a column still and tastes of cinnamon, clove, anise, eucalyptus, buttons, and evergreen, which is a gin-like flavor. The older rye is made using a pot still, adds a richer, bolder character, and just enough caramel sweetness and woody vanilla notes to calm the bite of the younger rye. Golly, I swear it said how old the two were, but it doesn't. I remembered it saying the years, and that's the only reason I was reading that was because I thought it said the ages on there. Because so they got a younger rye and an older rye, which younger and older, okay, who knows? One could be 2 years, one could be 3 years, whatever it is. Now here, before we get into this, I have already tasted it. Here's my recollection. It is exactly what they say it is, where you have these spiky, younger flavors. Pretty much exactly what they said. Where you get that eucalyptus, the anise, the clove, cinnamon. It has that, and then this older, and then the back half, the finishing half of that flavor profile was like this sweet, rich caramel, sugary sweetness. That did exactly what I said. It calmed it down and it tamed down some of those spiky notes. That's what I recall it doing. And that was the flavor profile that I got before I read that. So that was not power of suggestion from reading the thing. Like, that was what I was finding. Like, you could taste the different spikes in the youngness of the whiskey. And then it had this rich flavor that kind of came in right behind it, and it did balance it out from that perspective, where you had a creamy, smooth whiskey balanced out, or coupled with a spiky whiskey of a younger one. In my opinion, again, we'll see if anything's changed. We'll see if I get that exact same thing when we get into this bottle. But in my opinion, they would have been much better served if they had just left it at the older whiskey. Because the older whiskey was bringing to the table a bunch of really interesting, good things. And that young whiskey, although it had really nice flavors, they were very pointed. And so I could have done without that, personally. Especially for, my wife picked this up for, let's see here. Again, down in Colorado at the Total Wine and Spirits, picked it up for $73.99, so $74. This is my other gripe with High West products. They are very expensive and tend to be pretty young. I have if you go back, watch my videos, I think I've done the whole collection where I have the High West Rendezvous Ryes. I have 3 or 4 Rendezvous Ryes, and they're good. They're just not that great in my opinion, and they're $60 to $70 whiskeys. Also, my hunting partner gave me a bottle of their single malt, which again is pretty good, but not amazing. Their campfire whiskey which is a blend of Scotch and I think, was it single malt or bourbon? I don't know. We have a bottle of the Campfire that's an older release than the one my hunting partner had. My hunting partner had the release that had this sort of label on it, this style of label on it, and it was phenomenal. Not gonna lie about that one. But ours is an older, when they had kind of that cartoony style label on there, and it's okay, but not anywhere near as good as the one that my hunting partner had. Um, and so all of their stuff's pretty spendy. The A Midwinter Night's Dram, that is amazing. We have the 2022 release. Again, the problem with it is we paid $140 for it, which is an insane amount of money to pay for that. But it is also extremely good. And I did want to get my hands on the 10th anniversary release. But I was unable to do that, and that was a distillery only release, and I definitely have never been over there. Kind of a little irritated that my hunting partner, because he was spending time over there in Utah. He never, and he was at the distillery a couple of times. He never did pick up a bottle of that, which I really wish he had. So missed out on that one. But the price value for the whiskey, High West is just way overpriced. There's much better whiskeys at a much cheaper price. That Woodinville for $35.50, outstanding. So, anyways, that's my take from what I remember from the other night when I tried this. Is it good? Yes. Is it worth $74? No. So, having said all that, let's get into this. We'll give you some notes straight away here, but in my opinion, this is, unless I can get my hands on that Campfire, or maybe I'll try another bottle of Campfire. I really want the one that has this style label on it that my hunting partner had, but hey, maybe the new ones are really good. But again, it's just $60, $70, and I'm finding their stuff to be underwhelming. And so I just am not, it's not a good value for me, in my opinion. But it is good whiskey. It's just not that high dollar of a value good whiskey. Now, that is some viscous stuff in the glass for sure. And who knows, maybe getting that neck pour out of there, maybe it's changed and now I'm going to be having my socks blown off here, but who knows. On the nose? Ooh, okay. On the nose, it smells young. Green. Um, mentholy. Very weird. It's like menthol and caramel mixed together. That's kind of dominating the glass. A little bit of that eucalyptus in there. There's some sugary sweet underpinnings, confectioner sugar in there. But yeah, like toothpaste menthol. It's kind of dominating the glass right now. Mixed with that back end is like sweet caramel, confectioner sugar, a little bit of vanilla. Okay, on the taste. It's just what I remember the other night. It's creamy, a little bit proofy, but it's like it has this creamy mouthfeel that is just like sweet caramel, graham cracker, really, really, really nice. And then around the edges of my tongue and in the back, you get these like dry wine dryness that starts to dry out things. And then all these little spiky flavors that kind of pop in there, like that anise, the clove. You can get that eucalyptus in there. Um, like just a combination of young, like you can tell it's a young whiskey. It's that spikiness of those young flavors. But it is complemented by that rich caramel and graham cracker, which I really, really like. I just wish they hadn't put the young whiskey in with it. Um, on here they're like, oh, you can make a Manhattan or whatever. You could you're gonna mix a $75 whiskey? Yeah, okay. No, you're not. You're gonna go to the store and pay $13 for Rittenhouse or $12 for Old Overholt, and you're gonna mix that. And those, I think, bring to the table plenty of stuff, man. There's almost like a rubbery plastic nose mixed with that menthol in there. It There's a pleasantness to the nose, and then there's like just waves of other stuff in there that I'm not really enjoying. Going in on the taste again. Yeah, graham cracker, vanilla, caramel, honey, and then around the edges, just like a slightly bitter, slightly tannic, young, punchy, spiky flavors um, that make the experience not as enjoyable. Now, this is one of those things that, like, right time, right place, right memory, right people, extremely enjoyable. You know, you'd probably come back going, "Oh man, that was great. We need to have another bottle of that." I could see that happening because it is good. However, it's not what I'm reaching for most of the time. It's not what I would consider a special occasion whiskey. Like if it is, like if I know I'm going to see a friend who enjoys whiskey who I haven't seen for a long time, this is not what I'm bringing. Um, it's just not a $74 whiskey. And so because of that, sorry High West, I think we're kind of done. I was pretty disappointed with those Rendezvous Ryes. They had been getting tremendous reviews year after year after year. So I was like, oh man, I better go get those because I'm a huge rye fan. I went out, I bought them, and it was just like, eh. It was like an MGP profile. It was not anything amazing, and they were very expensive, and I got four different bottles. I compared them. They were all different, but they just weren't mind-blowing. If I'm paying more than $60 for a bottle, in my world, that's where it should be mind-blowing, and everything above that $60 should be crazy good. This Octomore, $280. There's no such thing as a $280 whiskey in my world. Like, I better get a rub and tug out of it if it's going to be that much. However, it is good. But here is my little caveat. Out of all the whiskeys that I have bought that are more than $100, I have been disappointed in at least 50% of them. They are not worth over $100 or anywhere near $100 in my opinion. Um, and as I've said in many of my videos, price does not equal quality or good or amazing or anything like that. Price is directly related to rarity and demand. So, things that only have a couple of bottles of it, whether it's good or bad, is going to be expensive. Um, demand is not based off of quality all the time. Marketing has a huge role to play. Look at the Pappy line. Again, you've heard me say it 100 times. I wouldn't give you $50 for any of the Pappies. None of them. Not the 23, not the 20, not the 15. I've never had the 10 or the 12. To me, I just don't want to feel like I'm drinking an oak state. That's not an enjoyable thing to me. And the fact that it's a $250 bottle normally would be pretty damn crazy. But nowadays, good luck finding one for less than $2,000. And that's an insane thing. I have people like they just want it for bragging rights, not because it's good. So don't go chasing stuff just because it's high priced or just because it's allocated or it's difficult to get or whatever. Really do your research on it. If you can go to a bar somewhere, even if you're paying $40 or $60 for a single drink, that is a much better value to try something to know you don't want it than to go out and try and hunt down, put in all the time, the money, the effort, chasing bottles that you are probably not going to like. It's one of those things where you're going to have to convince yourself that it's good because you paid such an outrageous excuse me, a little hiccup, because you paid such an outrageous price for it. That was one of the things with this Octomore that my wife and I were kind of like, what are we getting into here? Luckily we drank it. We kind of gave it as a anniversary whiskey for ourselves, and we both absolutely loved it. But again, $280. It's an insane price. $150, insane, but at least it's a little bit easier to swallow, right? You're like, okay, that's a lot of money. But is it rare? Yes. Is it difficult to get? Yes. But man, at the end of the day, for something you're just pissing out, that is just too much money. So because of that, High West, you are too much money in my opinion. This is a good whiskey. I do like it. It is not a $74 whiskey. This is a $40 whiskey. It brings something interesting to the table, but not something that I'm reaching for and not something that I really want to go out and spend money for on a routine basis. So go ahead, drop in the comments down below. Tell me how full of crap I am. What you can find a bottle of this High West Double Rye. Now, and this is even a store pick, right? Like, if you're going to get this Double Rye, make sure it's a store pick. You at least have a chance at getting something better. But whoever picked this, I don't know. I'm not thinking that that's something I'm picking, especially for that price tag. But, you know, drop in the comments what you can get a bottle for and where you're at in the country and what your experiences are with it. Maybe the bottle you had is amazing, and if that's the case, then good on you. That's just not what I was experiencing. It's good. I would much rather buy a long shot like oh, what is it? The Redwood Empire. So I got this Lost Monarch, which is a burr rye, but judging from that burr rye, I'm guessing their rye is amazing, and that was $35, so half the price. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. Throw your 2 cents down in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, share this out with anybody who you think will get some value out of this. Hopefully, I just saved you $74. But if not, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is your jam. If you like those notes, those flavors, and that's your thing, go ahead and tell me that. Everybody's entitled. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and when it comes to flavor and nosing and whatever, everybody smells things and tastes things differently. So maybe this is your jam, but for me, I'm just not willing to cough up that kind of coin for it again. And thank you for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.